For years, Saudi Arabia captured the world's imagination with one of the boldest ideas ever proposed in modern architecture: a 100-mile-long city built in the middle of the desert, known simply as the Line. It was promoted as a revolutionary idea, an ultra-futuristic, car-free, zero-emissions megacity stretching across 170 kilometers of sand, powered entirely by renewable energy, and housing up to 9 million people. But today, the story has shifted dramatically. What was once promised as a groundbreaking model for the future of civilization is now being massively scaled back, delayed, and reevaluated. The dream that once symbolized limitless ambition is being forced to collide with economic reality, shifting priorities, and financial pressure within the kingdom itself. So, what went wrong? Why is this historic mega project being cut down? And what does it mean for the future of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030? Let's break it all down. When Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman first introduced Vision 2030 in 2016, global oil prices were strong. The kingdom was optimistic, wealthy, and ready to diversify. For decades, Saudi Arabia relied heavily on oil to fund its economy. But with shifting global trends, climate concerns, and the need for modernization, the leadership wanted to build new engines of growth: technology, tourism, real estate, and global investment. The Line became the symbol of that future: a vertical city, 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, and stretching across an entire landscape like a shimmering mirror. A city without cars, without traffic, without pollution. A city where everything, from schools to workplaces to parks, would be accessible in minutes. A city with AI-controlled infrastructure, robots as service workers, and an underground hyper-speed transportation system. It sounded like science fiction, and that's exactly why the world paid attention. Saudi Arabia promised the impossible: a linear city carved into the desert that could redefine urban living for the next century. But behind the scenes, the costs were staggering. Building a megastructure of that size, with mirrored facades and fully renewable systems, required money, materials, technology, and manpower at a scale the world had rarely seen before. By 2024 and 2025, whispers began to emerge from inside the kingdom. Reports indicated delays. International contractors struggled with logistics, costs spiraled, and political advisors began raising concerns. Finally, a Saudi official openly admitted something the world suspected: "We spent too much. We rushed at 100 miles an hour. We are now running deficits. We need to reprioritize." That statement changed everything. Instead of the original plan to build the full 100-mile city, the government is now scaling it down to only a few miles, with a drastically smaller population, around 300,000 residents, instead of 9 million. The vision hasn't died, but it has shrunk. And this raises big questions. Was the Line too ambitious? Was it ever realistic? Or is this simply a temporary adjustment due to global financial strain? To understand the decision, we need to look at Saudi Arabia's bigger picture. Vision 2030 was launched during a period of strong oil prices. At that time, oil traded near $100 per barrel. But global conditions shifted. Oil demand fluctuated. Prices failed to reach triple digits again after 2022. And meanwhile, Saudi Arabia added new responsibilities: modernizing its economy, hosting major global events, building massive tourism destinations, preparing stadiums and infrastructure for the 2034 FIFA World Cup, constructing new cities, resorts, factories, and transportation networks. Billions were being spent everywhere. And eventually, even a wealthy nation like Saudi Arabia had to reevaluate where the money was going. A key advisor to the Crown Prince, Jerry Inzerillo, openly said that the kingdom is making a course correction. With rising budget deficits and a global oil market that is no longer as reliable, stronger financial discipline became necessary. Reports from Reuters revealed another shift. The kingdom now plans to focus more heavily on artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and data centers powered by hydrocarbon energy. These sectors promise faster economic returns than massive futuristic cities. But this scaling back doesn't only affect the line. The entire Neom project, which includes multiple futuristic destinations, is facing delays and redesigns. For example, Oxagon, the floating industrial hub shaped like an octagon, has seen slow progress. Trojena, the mountain resort meant to host the 2029 Asian Winter Games, is now delayed until at least 2032. Sindala, the luxury island that held a grand opening celebration last year, still hasn't opened to the public. It cost nearly 3 times its original budget, despite missing key deadlines. And then, there are the 12 new Neom projects announced in 2023, Leja, Epicon, Sirana, Utamo, and others. None of them have been built yet, and their future timelines remain uncertain. Even beyond construction challenges, the Neom megaproject has been controversial for another reason. Thousands of local residents were forced to relocate to make way for the massive new development. Human rights groups have criticized the process, adding additional pressure on the project's global image. So what does all this mean? Is it the end of the line? Not exactly, but it is a major reality check. The original vision, 100 miles long, 9 million residents, fully built by 2045, no longer reflects what Saudi Arabia can prioritize right now. The country is under pressure to produce faster returns, especially from the Public Investment Fund, PIF, which finances many of these mega projects. As costs rise and timelines expand, the government is shifting toward projects that bring earlier financial benefit and global credibility. That doesn't mean the line is disappearing. Instead, it's entering a new phase, a scaled-down, more realistic version, built in stages, focused on key sections rather than the full 170-kilometer stretch. This kind of pivot isn't unusual. Many countries, including China, South Korea, and the United States, have scaled back major infrastructure projects after encountering economic constraints. The difference here is simply the scale. The original vision for the line was so extraordinary that any reduction feels dramatic. The story of the line isn't over. It's simply entering its next chapter. If you want more deep dives into global mega projects, geopolitics, and stories shaping our world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.